Well, Gennadi, it's been an absolutely unbelievable year, something you and I never expected. I pretty much know what the ballet has been doing, but can you tell me how this has completely changed your direction as an artistic director and the things you've had to do to just redirect your entire artistic lifestyle?
Hello. Yes, it's been quite a year for all of us, you, myself, and everybody in the world. Well, that drastic change that happened within a day, basically, when we were going on stage with full-length ballet Giselle, and the next day we knew that we cannot even go back in the studio one by one. It affected all our lives. It affected physically and emotionally. And I must say it felt like a mental prison this past year, just being locked in the cell and trying to imagine, recreate something for the entire company. So it's been quite a year.
Well, you've done some amazing things. And as far as how has it been financially for the ballet to get through this year and to be able to be as creative as possible on very limited resources, I'm sure. How much did this affect your bottom line, and how much did it affect your employment?
It affected us a lot. We were able to, unlike many other companies in the country, in the nation, to keep our dancers, faculty, staff employed and not let anyone on furloughs. That is something that we're very proud of, and that was the president and CEO, Arturo Jacobo's biggest goal. Moving forward, of course, financially we get hit, not able to perform our Nutcrackers, not able to receive any revenues from the performances that we originally planned, and even planning for the next season without all that support around this year. It's going to be challenging. Everything has changed. Everything that was planned had to be replanned. But throughout this year, we were able to stay connected with our patrons, trustees, our audiences virtually, and we're continuing performing for them in that in virtual, and soon we will be in person as well. So there's a lot of hope we can bring to people, and we're going to see each other very soon. And thanks to the government support, the PPP loans really helped us to get through this financially hard season, and we look forward to moving forward. And hopefully government would not forget about us in the future as well.
Gennadi, how much would you say you've lost revenue-wise, if you have a number that you can give us, during this COVID year?
Must be above $4 million.
And what is that out of your total budget?
That would be pretty much equivalent to half of it.
Half of it. So you pretty much lost half of your budget just in what you had to lose in the way of revenue and all. Now, if you have to look ahead, and I know I've learned all about the wonderful 5 groups that you've had, the groups that you've set up with the 5 dancers, in order to let them individually choreograph their stuff. You were able to put on the Nutcracker, correct?
We were not being able to put on the Nutcracker. What we did, we created a virtual film of our previously filmed Nutcracker in previous years, and we were able to stream that. We created a drive-in venue during December, and we were able to stream that on the screen for our audiences from their cars, from their tailgates.
Let's look ahead if we can. What has happened during this pandemic year, Gennadi, which stays with you to the point that you may want to try to keep some of this going into the future? What have you learned out of this that has future potential? If there's such a thing as a silver lining to this thing, is there any for the ballet?
Of course. Well, we had to be flexible and we had to be creative, as we always are, but even more. Obviously, we had to turn towards the technology and virtual connection with our audiences. And I think it will go forward obviously we will be focusing on our in-person performances the most because nothing can change that personal connection. But the virtual abilities that we gain during this time will help us to connect with the choreographers, with dancers, with students, teachers, just be able to be more flexible, connecting to each other. So that is a huge treasure. And of course, we in the company were able to develop a new generation of choreographers. That's how I see them. Just thankfully to this year, we were forced to find new ways, and there is a silver linings. So we're going to be using this knowledge and experience moving forward.
Just one other question. A ballet dancer is very similar to an athlete and having to train almost on a continuing basis, if not a continuing basis. How are your dancers able to keep up with this during this year where they could not come into your rehearsal halls? There were so many things they couldn't do, and yet their agility and their ability and versatility has to be maintained. How was this handled psychologically? I mean, it must have been, just give me a feel for that as to what it was like for them.
It was tough. I'm sure it was tough for everybody. From the first days, we set up Zoom calls with our dancers so they can exercise at their homes using the kitchenettes, the back of the chairs as the bars, and continue their training their bodies, because without moving, everything goes away so quickly. So we were able to stay connected. We were having conversation weekly, bi-weekly with dancers to just update them on how things going. 3 months into the pandemic, we were able to bring them into the studio one by one, so that they have that space, that they're not going to be knocking themselves against the walls or chairs or any furniture in their houses, and able to move as free as they can be in large ballet studios. And little by little, we were able to bring them back together in smaller groups, masked up, distance, in their own cells that were drawn on the floors. In pods, we were separating the days into halves. We had 4 pods a day. So there was a lot of planning going into that. But little by little, and now I see dancers in 2 separate rooms, but connected, moving around, dancing, almost partnering. And with the vaccine coming in here, we have great hopes that soon we'll be able to come back to normal.
How are you handling this personally? This must have been a year that you certainly never even remotely anticipated. And having to change virtually day to day to day, everything that you were doing as the artistic director, how have you handled it?
I don't know. It's, I guess you get so focused on everything around you, and there's so many things that has to be addressed, has to be changed, always changed from day to day, and that's where the whole focus goes. My family is probably the real filter for me.
How do you mean?
Allows me to breathe, forget of the trouble, that we're going through all the hurdles, and just relax with them and just enjoy being with them.
So your family got you through it?
I think so.